All right, so we're hanging out in here. I just drove the truck around from the front to the back. It's still cold, but we're idling at right at 1,000 RPMs. My hope is that when I clean the throttle body and get in there with 250,000 miles, that's one of the things I like to do on this truck. And actually looking at it, 259,000 miles. But I'm hoping that we can get that RPM to drop down lower, and that will make the overall truck more gas efficient. So we've got a couple things we need to do in order to get this to work properly. But the first is turn the truck off and get to the throttle body. Also, I need to fix this. If I bring you up here, sorry, a little bright, a little close, a little bright. This kind of, I got to tighten that up. So that's not cool. Should just be a screw, but I'll show you what I'm doing with that in a minute. So I just did a video the other day about this truck, kind of walking around the inside. Went ahead and had an opportunity to just kind of clean the doors off. We wiped off just kind of the inside of this thing, got the gunk off of the steering wheel. Now, there is still a lot of wear on the steering wheel here, but in general, just a good wipe down. I did notice, if you look right here, you'll see kind of the cracks. Let me see if that'll focus for you. There's cracks all in this dash. If I really cared about this truck and wanted to keep this thing in good shape, I would actually rip this entire dash out. You can see over here as well, more crackage. And it's just from age. It's being sunbaked. Also over on that, that A-pillar, the inside has a rip in it. But when you back out, look at that, it looks great. It's kind of that 10-footer. Anyway, I'm gonna get up and get that, that rearview mirror fixed first, and then we'll come around and hit this throttle body. All right, so my first go-to is just some picks. We got standard pick tools here. I get up, there's a little shroud that goes around this thing. I've got to try and figure out how to get off, because usually there's a screw up in there. And in fact, I'm just going to get my light. If I can find the screw before I have to take the shroud off, even better. Oh, look at that. No shroud required, just a Torx bit. Oh, happy day. Put those back. Let's find a Torx bit. There's one. There's two. One of these is bound to fit. T15, T20. Let's see. Is it that one? Oh, it's that one. Yeah, problem solved. We're going to go into the throttle body now. The throttle body is usually going to get carbon deposits with age of the vehicle. We'll bring you up in here in a minute, but in general, you're going to have an air filter on your vehicle. That's going to pull air in from the outside. You need air, fuel, and spark to make your engine go. So that air gets pushed through the throttle body. This is a lot of times in big muscle cars when you see the flaps that open up and it goes rah, rah, rah. So you got one of those in your car, it's a throttle body, and this one, it's right here. So this right here, throttle body, this silver piece, this black part is just the tubing that's your air intake. That air filter is here, but we're gonna pull this air filter part off of this, and we're gonna get in here and clean this. If I really need to get detailed, I can actually unbolt it. There's usually 3 or 4 bolts and a wire harness, and we can just disconnect that, pull the whole throttle body out of the vehicle, clean both sides of it really well. But you're gonna get carbon buildup. It's gonna look like just black, greasy gunk inside of this. So let me grab what looks like a 10 or 12 millimeter, pop this thing off, and we can kind of get your face down in there, show you what we're working with. Try 10 first, because there we go. Import life. Everything nowadays is 10 millimeter, except for the things that aren't 10 millimeter, but that's very few things, but everything is 10 millimeter. All right, that should be loose enough. Let's see. Break it loose. breaking it loose. It's been sitting there for some time. Well, that is surprising. Surprisingly clean. Looks like it's actually been wiped out not too long ago. Let's get you in here, see what we can find. So as you look down in here, you'll see a little black ring. This piece here, oh, that's the throttle, whatever. That's the thing that goes rop rop. And around it, there's a little black ring. That black ring is not supposed to be there. That's carbon buildup. And so that's the black gunk that we're going to try and get off. So I may, because it looks really clean in here, a lot of times you would see gunk even just around here on the silver rim down there. But because I don't see any gunk down there, I think I'm just going to go ahead and pull this out. It's just these two screws and maybe one more on the bottom. And I'll pull this off and I'll just get both sides of it really clean. So check this. That's 10 millimeter, that's 10 millimeter. There's one down on the bottom left that's also 10 millimeter. Looks like 4 of them. We'll disconnect this cable first. That's easy. Remove the extra extension. It's been a while since I've worked on a truck that's this tall, kind of this big of an engine bay. There's lots of room in here. Oh, come on, there we go. But it's been a while since I've worked on something this big. It is missing kind of the beauty covers. There used to be a cover right on top. You can tell that based on this bar back here and these two things that are missing bolts. There's a cover that sat here. There's also a little eyelet over here, which looks like it's, and something here, and there's a black piece that's clearly missing. There's also another one over here that's got little eyelets. So, whatever. I don't care about the beauty covers, but there is a lot of opportunity to get your hands in here, which is kind of nice. All right, bolt number 1. We'll file that back there. In theory, I'd like to get this thing out of the way, but I'll just probably work around it. I also need to burp the coolant. I noticed, I think there's an air bubble. Like, the heat works, but I think it should work better. And because the fan had not been working, I'm questioning whether there's, I just got to check the coolant level. Hey there. Hello, neighbor driving so fast through my alley. How are you today? All right, a nut. It doesn't want to come off yet, so let's hit this 4th bolt down here. All right, 4th bolt. Let's see what we can get here. Shake and wobble. Oh, she comes right off. Oh, that is nice. Okay, there are some hoses on the bottom that are kind of doing a little hold-on tight bit for it. Ah, there we go. Now we're seeing the real deal. Let's get you into this. So if I come in here, now we'll get you in. And now you can see there's a good bit of black and discoloration back here. I'm going to clean all this up, as well as this little inlet right here. There's just going to be black gunk right there. So that's pretty funky, pretty filthy. I can smell a little bit of fuel. I'm not worried about that, but just something I'm noting. But I'm going to clean this up because that's pretty gross. So I'm going to get some brake clean. I don't have any carb cleaner, but brake clean will do the trick. Little rag and a toothbrush. This thing will be whistling again. All right, initial run. I've got a can of brake cleaner, which is pretty much empty, so that's good. I'm just going to hit the inside first with just a basic towel here. see what all I can get out of this thing. Oof, yeah, it just feels gross. Yuck. So if you're cleaning this for yourself, you don't want to use any actual like soap cleaner, but things that are flammable like brake clean and carb cleaner, which is designed for this, carburetor cleaner, you can use that stuff. So we're just giving this the old once over here first, see what we can do before we get to the actual solution of cleaning solution. Shoo, this thing is funky. Like a bow-legged monkey.
Hello, funky. Like a bow-legged monkey.
All right, already it's looking better. Let's slap some brake clean on there. Anything that's left in this can. All right, she's looking a whole lot cleaner in there right now. I was able to get the fin pushed up and got the sides of it all on the side. There's still a little bit left in there I'm going to use an old toothbrush for. So I'm just going to hit this thing with a little bit of brake clean here. Just kind of get it soaked in with brake clean. And then we're going to hit into them corners and get it sparkling. That's why we keep old toothbrushes around. All right, well, let's show you what we got here. I'll just take you right on in, get it up in the teeth. Look at that. So that is a gold color. That's what it should look like. When I flip this thing open, the side of it is gold colored as well. And even down in here, you can see, hopefully if the light gets, there we go, it is silver and not black. So that's good, a little bit of cleaning. And I'm gonna scrub in here with the toothbrush, scrub right in here on that black part a little bit with the toothbrush, and that'll be good. And then I'm gonna put this back in, and I'm just gonna hit the top part of it with a little bit more toothbrush action, and then we should be good. All right, now I went ahead and just lightly put these main 3 bolts in here. It's holding onto the main stud. I'm gonna toss that bolt on as well. Always make sure to get these things placed before you start tightening up any bolts. That's kind of a thing that you learn in life. But we also want to be clear that we're tightening in a crisscross pattern. You want to kind of get this thing seated up evenly. So that one's tight but not snug. This one is tight but not snug. Then we'll hit this one. Tight but not snug. And then the bottom one, well, that's, come on, get out of the way. All right, so now I can tighten this one down. We'll give this a little bit bigger push. This one, and there's a torque spec, which is probably, 2 wrenches past the arm hair. You obviously don't want to over tighten these. If you want to be really official, you can find that torque spec. You're just looking for no air leaking between here and this the intake. All right, that's good. So next thing to do is just to hit another once over in here towards the top. Like I said, if I fold this thing down, you probably won't be able to see it, but I'm going to hit that part with a little bit of juice. We'll just get it in there. There we go. Scrub-a-dub-dub. Yep. Make sure to drop your rag down there. Yeah, this rag is filthy. And for opening this thing up and seeing that it looked kind of clean, this thing's got a lot of gunk on it. Hook all of our connection back up. This one little cable over there. Reseat the intake onto the throttle body. Come on. There we go, tighten her down. We should be good. Now after this, in theory, what we should do is disconnect the battery. That's a horrible sound, but all right. In theory, we should disconnect the battery for about 30 seconds, and then we start the car and we just let it run for 5 minutes, and it's going to relearn its idle pattern, checking its fuel trims and all that stuff, doing some mathematical things that, well, I don't really understand, but it'll do it. So I'm going to start this beast, let it run, idle, and just listen for anything different. Actually, I'm going to check the air filter as well. I think I looked at this. Let's just take a peek at this. Since we're under the hood, oh yeah. Looking at this, clean on this side, which is the clean side. This is the dirty side, but it's not horrible. Got a leaf, but it looks like it's been changed somewhat recently. So that's great. Put that thing right back in there. Another thing that should be checked, which I have not checked yet, is transmission fluid. But I'm not going to do that. I am going to look at the coolant. I'm curious what you think about the audio and video quality. I'm actually using my real camera and my new mic, and I'm hoping that it looks good and sounds good. Yeah, let me know down in the comments if this is, usually I just end up running a GoPro because it's so easy to just put a GoPro. Why in the world did they put the cap underneath this? Anyway, usually I just run a GoPro, and that's easy, but it may not be the best thing for you guys, so just let me know. So I'm pulling up these push pins. There's like 500 of them, it seems like. What you do, you got the middle piece that you got to pull out because it gets pushed down, and that squeezes this out. So you got to pull the middle, then pull the clip. I'm only going to pull enough that I can get to the cap. Whew, all right, that's all these clips. This is no wonder Lexus charges you so much when you go in for service. It takes them 3 times as long to pull all the clips. Ooh, we got a nice little mud dauber nest right here. Let's evict that guy. Okay, that's gone. Maybe we'll pull these leaves out of the fan. All right, but the whole reason I was up here is not to fix things I didn't expect to see, but in fact to check my coolant level. So maybe I should get the vacuum and just vacuum this out. Nah. All right. Cap off. We'll squeeze this and see if it moves. It's not, well, I don't see it moving. So I do know that I'm missing the overflow tank. When I looked at the vehicle, I saw this, and I thought, we're missing something here. Now, that's just the overflow, so you've got to like overheat your coolant. This internal piece has to pop so that now it's pushing your boiling coolant out, and it should go into an overflow tank, and that's missing. I can buy one. I'll get there eventually. But that being said, I should see coolant in here, and I should be able to squeeze this and put coolant or see coolant moving. And I'm wondering if the gurgling sound that I hear is the coolant going through the heater core, but not having enough, so there's an air pocket. I don't know. I'm going to check and see what type of coolant this needs, Sounds weird, but they're a specific coolant for Asian vehicles. And I just, you know, I got to make sure we get the right stuff. So I'm going to check that, but I might put the burp tank on here. I got to let it run anyway to reset the throttle. If I can let it run and also put some coolant in there and fill up that, then that would be useful. I'm going to cap it for right now. Be right back. All right, side note, off topic, look at these headlights. Went ahead and polished these up, and I don't know if the light's going to do it justice. Let's try this one over here. If I back out, there we go. These things came out super clear. I used the Cerakote kit. It's on Amazon. It's super cheap. I've used it past couple vehicles, but came out nice. They cleaned up really well, polished in really well. And now we're going to use our burp kit. This is a burp kit. And what we got to do is find which little holder downer thingy is going to fit. Looks like this one. There we go. Because we want this to seal on here. That looks like it's sealed. We're going to put this on top. And then we put some coolant into here. We open it up. And it'll start to fill, and then it'll burp when we're running the vehicle. So, add some coolant. And what I'm listening for right now, I mean, it's bubbling right now. It's soaking all that in. So that tells me that we were probably low on coolant since all of that is gone. What I was going to say though is as we run the vehicle, we're going to manage this, and we're watching for air bubbles to come out. We're going to run the heat on high. Now this has a front and a back heater. So we're going to run both of them on high because that's going to circulate all the way through all the coolant passages, and it's going to get out any air bubbles that we might have. Let's set this guy over here. Drink up, little buddy. All right, we're going to fire this thing up. If you've never worked in a shop before, when the keys are in the car, the vehicle's running, put a window down. It's not a good day when your engine is running and your keys are locked in your car. But I don't need these tools anymore. I'm going to put these off to the side. I will say this vehicle was not overheating. When I picked it up, it wasn't leaking. It wasn't overheating when I looked at it. So that's encouraging. I'm going to start to let this thing get warmed up. Then I'm going to turn the heat on. We should see the thermostat start to cycle. And that's what we want. I like to be able to press on this top hose and see things move, get the air out. It's encouraging. I'm going to kick on the back heater first because that's harder to get to. Turn the temperature up, turn the fan up. Turn the front heater on. Let's go auto. I'm going to turn the air conditioner off, but the heat all the way up. Max hot. There we go. Let that thing cycle. So this could take a couple minutes. Again, the throttle body is going to be resetting the the idle in the computer. We're also looking for the thermostat to open and cycle coolant and hopefully fill up with the coolant. We're not going to sit here and talk while it does it, but just this is what we're going to do. All right, so we've been running for about 8 minutes. The idle, when I look at it now, we are back down at 750 RPMs, which is good. That's great. And then I did go ahead and give it some gas and just kind of ran the gas up because the heat wasn't actually like circulating. The thermostat's open because the heater meter, whatever you want to call it, thermostat, is sitting here at right in the middle. But once I gave it some gas, it actually started to circulate and pump things through. And now I've got hot heat coming out of these vents, which is great. I'm not sure if I needed to like kick something loose in there. I'm just not quite sure, but it's all working right now. And it is toasty warm in this truck. If I give it about, that's at 1500 RPMs. Just letting it circulate and cycle. Again, getting any air bubbles out of the system that may have been in there. I've drank some coolant here. And finally, this top tube is warm. I'm going to check underneath the truck, just make sure we're not leaking anything under here. Yeah, I don't see any leaks, which is good. We have pulled in some coolant, so I'm going to go ahead and just toss some more in here and give this thing another little run up to 1500, 2000 RPMs. Just to see if we get any further air bubbles to come through. But this is kicking out some heat right now in here. Shoo! So we're going to go up to 1500. I would do this under the hood, but it's electric run throttle body. Let's go up to 2000. And so what we're doing is we're running the coolant pump that's on the engine, and so that's cycling everything, and it's making it cycle all the way through this heater box that's in the car, which is what makes your air warm in your car. That's 1800 RPMs. We'll back it back down. Let it settle back down here. There we go. Yep. It is. Let's put it in neutral. Don't roll away. And see where it sits while it's in neutral. That's another test for us. Of course, we got the fan running. It is cooking out some heat in here. We'll go ahead and turn this down now. But yeah, so even in neutral, the RPMs are sitting at 800 RPMs. I'm going to check the tech spec on the old interwebs. And I'm going to check the specs on the internet, see what it says that this should be running at. But we're not pulling in any more coolant, which is good. So I can go ahead and cap this off by doing that. And then what I'll do is just take this tub, stick it on top of the other jug, and just drain it back into the jug. I'm going to turn the vehicle off though, because this is going to be a pressurized system. And we don't want coolant in the face. All right, so we depressurize. Nothing's popping out. That's good. So I'm just going to open up the lid on this coolant thing, jug. Take this guy off. We'll have a little bit of overflow. That's fine. Empty that back into the jug, so we've got that for the next vehicle. Perfect. Put the vehicle cap on. Caution, it's hot. Let's make sure that seat's right. That did not seat right. There we go. Now we're on there. On to the next vehicle. If I can get this to go on right. All right, we got all that stuff away. Now we're going to put the 1700 clips back in with this guy. Maybe I'll just try that. This works on the internet sometimes. Let's try this. If I just throw it. Well, that was easy. Awesome. Well, this one's done. We've cleaned the throttle body. We burped our coolant. Got the heater running again. Reset the idle. That one's done. We even sanded down a wheel. All right, well, thanks for hanging out with me on this cold, wintry January day. Happy New Year to you. But if you like this kind of content, seeing kind of the tips and tricks and workings of vehicles, let me know down in the comment section. Give the video a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing. But we'll catch you guys in the next video. That's it for now. Peace. All right, next vehicle. We got to get this van debacle out of the way. This thing leaves tomorrow. Where are the keys? Good thing I left the window down.